So now what we're going to do is we're going to prepare to bake this. And the way I do it is I want to try to keep the meat out of the grease that will come out of the meat mixture. So I'm going to put it on a rack to lift it up a little bit, to raise it up. But to make the rack easier to clean, I'm going to cover it first in some foil. So let me show you that. Here's my rack. This will be the size of the meatloaf. You take a piece of foil and cover it. That's going to make our cleanup a little bit easier. Now, take this and pile it right on like so. Trust me, it'll work out just fine. Okay. I'm going to make this into the shape of the rack that I have here, and it's also going to make it thinner so that it cooks faster and evenly. Pressing it down, forming it around into basically the shape of a pie. Just about like that. The thinner you make it, the faster it'll cook. That looks nice and uniform, the sides, the middle, so that when it's done, it's going to be done completely all the way around, just like so. This is going to now go in the oven, so we're going to take a roasting pan, place our Mexican meatloaf in the bottom of the pan, just like so. This is going to go in a preheated 375-degree oven, probably somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, or until the internal temperature of the meatloaf mix is 165 degrees for medium well. So in the oven she goes.
Today on the dish, our next dish will be my version of Spanish rice. I have taken the rice already and rinsed it. I have about 1.5 cups. Rinsing it is up to you. I prefer to rinse. I have about a half, maybe a little over half of a cup of chopped onions I've done in advance. I have 1 packet of Sazon seasoning with achiote to give it the nice orangey color. I have just under half a cup of olives. It's up to you if you want to put them in or not. If you're not an olive fan, leave them out. And I have some garlic, which I'm going to chop up. The amount of garlic depends on you and how much you like your garlic. And olive oil, salt, and of course our pan back there. I'm going to kind of warm up the pan a little bit to get it going. And I am going to put in olive oil. The amount is up to you, depending on how much you like it. When I put my rice in, I like to coat my rice with olive oil, just to give it a nice coating and makes it cook a little nicer, I think. So probably 1, 2, maybe 3 times around and a little more. Again, the olive oil amount's up to you. And I'm going to, while the oil is heating, I'm going to chop up my garlic. Nothing fancy, it doesn't have to be really small. If you like big chunks, that's fine. If you like it real fine, you can do that. You can also use a garlic press if you really want to hide it in there. I just like to chop it up loosely. Obviously, be careful when you're chopping. Get your fingers in the way. And go on here. I like to put my garlic in second. I don't want it to burn, so I will add it to the olive oil after I've added my onions. Put it back in here. onions in the olive oil. We don't want to brown them, we just want to sweat them. Let me get a little spoon here. I'm going to add my onions right now. The olive oil. I'd like to add a little salt at this time. The amount of salt is up to you. I'm using kosher salt, and I just do 1, 2, maybe 3 pinches because I am doing a cup and a half of rice. And just let that sweat a little bit. I'm just making sure that the onions do not brown. We don't want them brown. It does give a little bit of a burnt flavor to the rice if you do that. I'm just kind of cooking them up in the olive oil, letting them sweat. It doesn't have to boil or simmer real high, just a little cooking. I have my burner, it's electric, on about 6 right now. Because this is an aluminum pan, it will heat up a little quicker than some of the other type pans. I'm going to add the garlic. Oops. Olives with a pimento. You can use black olives if you like. You can use plain green olives, Italian olives. It's up to you, or you can leave them out depending on if you're a fan or not. Like I said, just a rough chop. Back in the little dish, makes it easier to transport. A bit that away. You add the rice, and with this, then I'm going to coat the rice in the olive oil. Hot pad for that. And I'm just going to stir gently so I don't splash myself with hot oil. Just going to coat the rice gently. And it also mixes in the onion and the garlic that we put in earlier. Again, the amount of oil is up to you. We tend to like a lot of olive oil in our foods. And I am going to give it a good coating. It doesn't have to fry, it doesn't have to turn brown. We're not making a pilaf. Make sure. And then because we are doing 1½ cups of the rice, I have 21 ounces of water ready to go. I'm going to add that. And now I am going to add the Sazon seasoning, which it'll give it the nice orange color. And I'm going to add my olives. Try a little spoon to get the rest of them out of there. And you just stir that gently to incorporate it. You can see the nice orange color already starting. It'll make the rice look really nice. So much nicer than having bland white rice with the onion and olives and garlic in it and the seasoning in the flavor packet. So I just kind of bring that up to a slow simmer, and then I will put the lid on it. Well, the rice has come up to a boil, and I'm going to give it a little stir or two just to stir it up and make sure everything's a little bit more incorporated. You will have stuff float to the top, which is okay. And put the lid on.